That's connecting again, Facebook. Guys, namaste. God bless. How are all of you? It's late, man. Yeah, Jerry's on late tonight. Why? Because I got a day off, meatballs. Finally, after a couple weeks, man. But this just will give you an idea. I'm going to have to do a part 1 and part 2, maybe even a part 3 on this, because when I got this question from a dear friend who I've known for a long time. But when I picked up my prescription the other day, it's like allergy medicine, basic allergy medicine. Have you guys ever read the disclosure in the back of potential, side effects that happen from this stuff? I guarantee you the majority don't. I don't. I take their words as gospel. I put my trust in their hands. Indeed. Now, as I discovered that, we have been, and this came to me many moons ago. I have the luxury of, when I'm at work, the first couple hours, I can actually jack in buds into my ear and enjoy a book and enjoy what I want to learn for the day. And that's been my mantra for the past decade. I can honestly say I can't tell you the hundreds of books that I've gone into. But going back to my subject on that, we take what basically the pharmacist gave us as gospel. We don't read it, we trust them. Well, this too also we've trusted for centuries here as well. And this is a new standard version. I bought this remember when they had flea markets? They call them open air markets now. I bought this at a flea market, I think for $1, like 12 years ago. And it has been not my cornerstone of thinking, but it's opened up a new eye to what I was taught. And this is the problem. We've taken what these guys have said in that big old book there as gospel, not realizing that in the 4th century, the biggest components of that gospel were taken out. The Emperor Constantine edited the Bible, the King James Version, I presume, to take out certain points in there. And one of the areas that was edited was "Ask and ye shall receive." Ask and ye shall receive. That's a nice set of words that we've been dealt with for centuries. But how many of you have asked and gotten what you received? Most likely, the majority of you know. And this is what perplexed me, because I'm a good person. I'm saying to myself, why am I not receiving what I ask for, as it states clearly in these friggin' words that they're saying in there? There's a way to ask. And this is what was edited out by Emperor Constantine. Maybe he just said, look, guys, we don't want to tell anybody. But there's too much information that'll give them too much power. Not to go against any kind of Christian Judeo manuscripts. They're beautiful sets of words. I haven't read the whole thing. I can't. I would lose my shit. I would have to listen to it, honestly, which I haven't done. But I go into the main components of it. And one of those components was, how am I not getting what I'm asking for? Or why am I not getting what I'm asking for? And I got a question from one of my dear friends who I've known for the longest time. And she asked me, I ask all the time, I don't get shit. Indeed. So the question bears itself. Why are we not getting what we ask for? Why are we out there trying to have what we want in life? And we reach these points like I reached when I was walking with my kids in a flea market, because we had no money. Maybe we had $10. And I spent $1 that there was a box of Bibles there, and I bought a Bible. That kind of started the journey, not in kind of any kind of Christian or Bible thumping way, but information wise. And when I learned this really got me angry. I was like, why weren't we taught this? There was a specific reason why we were taught not to practice this. It's happening now, actually, where people are understanding that religion and science are basically the same components. They're the same thing, just stated in different ways and different verses and different opinions of others, but it's virtually the same thing. And when you guys can grasp this for yourself, you realize it's not New Age thinking or New World thinking. It's about you becoming yourself. And there's a certain way of talking to this field of energy The Bible calls it God. New Agers call it energy. Whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. It's our creative quantum force that we have inside of us. And ask and ye shall receive is probably the most well-known verse out there. People take it for, as their life patterns. But really, how many of you have actually gotten what you've asked for? As I bear the question again. If you really think back, the majority of you probably haven't. Because you're praying for something instead of praying from something. Remember that. People are praying for something to happen in their life instead of praying from something that has happened in their life. Indeed, because what was languished and what was suppressed was the very fabric that got Einstein in trouble. And when this is great, because we all had this creative godlike power, but being brought up, we were never told to imagine what we wanted in life. Oh, you can get whatever you want, but don't get too crazy, because you never know. Life might get a little crazy on you, and you'll never get that. The very fabric of our creative quantum field access to create what we want is our imagination. And this is what they took out of Scripture in the 4th century to tell us how to do it, how to ask. And this should put a big old smile on your face, because when you realize we were all praying the wrong way all these years, now when you understand how we actually pray all the time, our thoughts are basically prayers, quantum prayers that are just being answered back to us. When you realize your thought process, you realize your life process. Life is just one big old prayer that you keep saying every day. Oh, I wish I could make more money. I wish I could have a better job. I wish. And all you're doing is praying to something that you don't have. The universe doesn't understand our voice. It understands frequency, understands vibration. It understands the very fabric of our imagination, what we're sending out every day. We imagine ghosts and goblins all day long instead of our dreams and desires. We imagine fear and what can happen instead of what we can make happen. This is the beauty that I hope really just shakes you guys up when you have a chance to watch this. I really hope that you can grasp. You can't get anything you want when you're praying for it, because you're telling the universe that it's not here. Therefore, what kind of energy you're sending out? Emptiness, missing, not having, those negative thoughts. That's what they're talking about in the field as far as quantum mechanics goes. When you're praying for something, you're telling everything around you that you don't have it. Think about it. When you're praying for, say, financial boon, what you're saying is, I'm broke, and I feel that way. When you're praying for love, and you want love in your life, what are you praying for? Because you don't have love. The universe, it's not bias. It only gives you what you give it. They say, oh, gratitude's the answer. Indeed. But how many of you are actually grateful? Literally, sincerely grateful for whatever's going on in your life. That's how you have to approach your imagination on your potential realities that you want to create. And life-changing, indeed. Indeed. I'm not even going to go into the quote box. I'm going to save this for tomorrow night, because I literally had to postpone my show with Kurt on Tuesday night because I had to work today and Monday night. So it was just this big shit show. I'm doing a show for Kurt tomorrow because I'm actually off. I'll probably come on with part 2 for this. So if you guys have a chance, please follow me, Jerry Maldonado 2. And you'll see the update tomorrow on this first program going into the second, because this is a game changer. Literally, it's a game changer in your life when you start praying from what you want as if it already happened. That's what they're talking about in gratitude. They're saying be thankful before having it. And a lot of us don't get that. A lot of us didn't realize that, because all we're praying about is what's not here. Therefore, we can only get what more of is not here. And growing up, I was naive enough to believe the meatballs that were teaching this, being my late father was a deacon, and you had to do certain servitude and all this other shit. And I get it. And when it came down to this verse, And I think there was actually 46 different gospels that were deleted, expunged from the original Bible. And Google says 18, one says 17, but the information I got said up to 46 were expunged. To me, the most important one was the Gospel of Thomas. In his writings, you guys couldn't read it, and unless you understand Greek. I don't understand Greek. I had to get this translation. There's actually a book out there on translation of all the scriptures and what they actually mean. And I'll get that for you guys, and I'll put it in a plug, maybe a hashtag on that. But the Gospel of Thomas, basically, he noted and denoted in there in many causes the words of the teacher. He's one of the few that actually was able to get the words of Jesus during his times of teaching. And a lot of the other ones are parables and stories about what had happened. This guy was actually, I think, his secretary. he was just one of the followers and understood what was going on. But I'll get right to his point. The lost Gospel of Thomas, you have to speak the language that the universe recognizes. You can call it God, you can call it the quantum field, you can call it your aura, whatever it is, whatever you're asking for, you have to be in that state of mind and that feeling in order to start having that culminate in your life. And there's a language for that field. What is that language? It's all feeling. It's all feeling. He denoted about taking two forces, marrying them as one to become one potent creative force. And I state it here all the time in America's Mentor. Where the hell you think I got it from? But I wanted to bring this up for the people who've been asking me, why haven't I gotten what I've asked for? And it was a game changer for me. Verse 106 of the Gospel of Thomas. Guys, please understand. This is the simplest thing you can realize in your life that will completely change your paradigm. Because when you realize we were all taught, in essence, wrong on how to create a better life, you'll realize how to do it now. And life gets a lot more fun because you become more consciously aware of what you're sending out every single day. Verse 106 from the Gospel of Thomas. And I'll break it up for you because shut up, man. Here we go. When you make the two, thought and emotion one, you will say to the mountain, move, and the mountain will move away. What is Thomas saying about thought and emotion? Thought and emotion. When you marry the two, you become this potent, powerful force that can change your world. When you say to the mountain, move, you believe your obstacle is going to get out of the way. You will live by it. Guess what? How many of you guys have believed something will truly happen? Indeed, it has happened. This is what they're denoting in this. So we're just brought about in all different ways. This is about marrying these two into a single potent force. This is your power to speak to the field, as they call it, the field, or God, or energy, or the quantum field out there, whatever you guys want to call it. It's all about you becoming what you want before it actually happens. And I will go into the quote box tonight because this is relevant, because I'll bring it over to part 2 as well. But this is the hardest part for people to recognize. Verse 48 of the Gospel of Thomas. And I bring these biblical notes to you guys because a lot of you guys are still in the realm of reading scripture as gospel and believing everything about it. It was yes, indeed, it was a beautiful book, the best-selling book of all time, indeed. But it was edited out and it was censored in so many different ways. It left us hanging for millions of years. I can only imagine how much. But verse 48, and this is what you guys got to realize too. They talk about the house in scripture in a lot of ways. The house is just us. And I talk about a lot here in America's Mentor, how we build a foundation and the house becomes from what we build on that foundation. Indeed, verse 48, if you make peace with each other in this house, thought and emotion, you can only create from that. Think about how many of you are not at peace in life. Indeed, and what you're creating is your life from those thoughts and feelings you're carrying every single day. All you got to do is create a paradigm shift in your thinking, and your life is going to change. They basically have taken the new age of thinking that's basically been around for thousands of years, but brought it together with science and scripture to create an amazing force for us to use. But they suppressed our imagination for God knows how long, because that's the gift that we have. Our imagination is the most amazing power tool that we have. If we live in, because people think, oh, you can't live in a fantasy world. What fantasy world? It's the reality that you want to create. How can it be a fantasy? How many of you have imagined being with the most beautiful woman? You create the opportunity and you create all the scenes from it, and then it culminates. That's the same thing. You're just creating a better life for yourself. This is all about us becoming one. When you marry the two, thought and emotion one, you become a potent, powerful, creative force. Hence, that's why they say God dwells within us. That's the point, meatball. It's our imagination. It's about who we are. It's that creative force that we can use every day to push out into the field, or whatever you want to call it, to create the reality that we want. So if you affirm every day it's going to be a great day, and you feel it, usually it's going to be a great day, barring any circumstances that are out of our control. But I can guarantee you, I do this every day, and 99% of my days are fantastic. Busy as hell, yes indeed. But you get a different perspective about life. You start understanding your conscious ability to create anything you want. But that was suppressed. I know we were suppressed for how you can't go into this, unicorn and fairy tale lifestyle. Guys, that's the point of it. Imagination is the creation before the creation. And when you realize that, you realize how you ask is what you receive out of the quote box tonight. How is in what manner? In other words, or way, your approach and how you're asking. Do you believe that you can have it? In other words, and the next word is receive. To act as a receptacle or container. In other words, you've emptied your house to receive the new that you want to create in your life. Hence, to permit to enter. When you believe and you allow, that's your heart and your mind in coherence to create whatever you want. You start embellishing that like I do every day with my writings and my thoughts and my feelings every day. You can only create that life. And when you realize what the Gospel of Thomas was, it was a blueprint to anything that you desire. It's an actual blueprint by using the very gift that we were giving us that was suppressed by people and beliefs and cultures and politics and economics, that you can never be who you truly want to be. You got to follow us, meatball. You got to follow the herd in your life. When you guys can grasp this, I'll actually bring up different points on tomorrow's segment too, before I head on with Kurt. I'll carry this subject into part 2 tomorrow, because it's a paradigm shift that is life-changing. It should put a big old smile on your face knowing that whatever you desire, whatever you can imagine in your mind, and you go about that every single day with some feeling that you know it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You are going to see synchronicities and all these things in life to bring you to a conscious sense. Wow, here's a hint. It's like breadcrumbs. It's like you're feeding pigeons. You're getting the little breadcrumbs out there, and you're realizing what you're manifesting in your life. But conscious thinking is the key. It's making a profound choice, a declaration to the world, the universe, the field, to God, whatever you want to call it, whatever might be in your belief system. It's all the same thing. We all have the same ability. Those meatballs on television who on a pedestal, we have the same power as they do to create what they have. And whatever you truly want in life, whatever you truly desire, don't pray for it. Pray from it, as if it's already happened. I'll go into Neville Goddard's piece on that tomorrow. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy your, what the hell? It's Wednesday night. I finally get a day off tomorrow, guys. America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, at America's Mentor on X. Guys, follow me, Jerry Maldonado 2, for unique information to help you to your destination. I will say it one more time. When you're asking for something in life, Pray as if you have it. Feel it. Believe it. Know it. Understand it. Don't pray for it. You don't pray for a miracle because you are a miracle, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon, man.